It's Nolan. What's going on, y'all? It's the Kid J Nolan here. Now, as y'all should know, I spoke about a month ago about Blac Chyna, aka Angela White, or in the reverse, Angela White, aka Blac Chyna. Her ongoing custody battle with Tyga has been a little bit contentious. I think that's the way that we would go ahead and just label that. I spoke on the fact that she's made some major lifestyle changes. I mean, that she's taking all types of injections out of her body. She's reforming herself, taking on a new image. She's rebranding with her real name. She's trying to get custody of her child, or at least get more visitation rights and more time with her child, with Tyga. She's canceled her OnlyFans, so she's not doing any nude work online for money, anything like that. Like, she's going cold turkey from the entire lifestyle. She's leaving it behind, right? Now, some reports have hit online saying that she's also selling a lot of her wardrobe, cleaning out her closet in order to quote unquote make ends meet. When I saw this, I was like, man, she was making way too much mother effing money for her to be trying to make ends meet. What the hell is going on, right? After seeing actual interview footage of her with ET, it does not seem like she's having trouble making ends meet. She's just selling this wardrobe, selling her old clothing, because she's actually removing her attachment from materialistic items and focusing on other things, right? She's moving on from that person that she used to be. She said that that clothing and certain materials that she obtained during that phase of her life, it carries on an energy that she no longer wants to keep with her, right? So let's get into what Blac Chyna had to say. We'll go ahead and play some of the quotes.
Where did you reach the point where you said, I need to sell my personal belongings in order to get by? That was a little bit of a shock to me when I read that in your court doc.
You know what? I feel like a lot of things hold energy, right? And we had discussed this before, and I just kind of wanted a fresh start. And I don't think nothing's wrong with selling like your old stuff.
No.
Like, people have eBay, people sell their old cars, they get their old cars back and all these different things. But for me, I feel like now at this point in my life, I don't really value materialistic things. Yeah, it looks nice, but it's like, why go out and grind and hustle for this money to go and spend it on something that could potentially just disappear, walk about your house? You might leave it somewhere, somebody could rob you, steal from you, and all of that. That's why I kind of like also stepped away from wearing a lot of flashy jewelry and all those good things like Rolexes. You see all these stories on the blogs and the internet, and I feel like I'm a target already. So why even bring more attention to myself?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. When I was reading it, I was saying, are you fearful that like the money would run out and you just wanted, you wanted a backup, or you just said, I got to make sure I have this for my kids as well to help support my kids?
The type of person that I am and the type of life that God has set up for me, I'll never run out of anything, and I'll always be very fruitful because I always give back. I make sure my family, my friends, my staff, everybody around me is taken care of. And sometimes I put people before myself because I feel like, I just want to make sure that they're okay. And a lot of people I feel like should kind of like look into that and kind of feed into that also.
All right, so those are the words from Blac Chyna's mouth. She said nothing about going broke. She said nothing about she's losing out on money or she needs to make ends meet. She didn't say anything like that. Now, I don't know exactly what's true, what's not. I do not see her account. I'm not checking her goddamn bank statements and shit like that. That's not for me to do. Remember, when I made my previous video talking about her and Tyga, I was trying to understand what her situation was, because she was just claiming she didn't need his money, but then all of a sudden she's asking for it, right? So of course that would go in line with that narrative that she's needing something, but I don't know that to be true, and I don't want to continue to spread misinformation if that's not the case. She did make some good points as well, right? Like, people go out here, hustle, grind hard, work their ass off to obtain financial stability, financial status, to take care of themselves and their families, just to blow it on items that once you receive them, they don't hold value, right? These clothes, once you buy them, most of them are not going to sell at a higher price. They're going to sell for less than what you bought them if you resell them. They might end up at the mother effing Goodwill where somebody comes up on your shit for super low. She also mentioned these people that have been having their houses broken into, right? People getting robbed. This is a very frequent thing out in LA for people that live out there. A lot of celebrities have had their shit stolen from them in recent years. This is an ongoing thing. So why invite that? She says she feels like she's already a target. There's already so many eyes on her, people watching her, may have stalkers, all type of shit going on. And why bring excess attention by having all of these overpriced items in your possession and you really don't care about them is another thing. So I really can't be mad at her. She talked about how people sell their cars back or they use their cards as bargaining chips to get a new one. You know what I mean? All these different things that people do. So I would not look at her with the gaze of she's broke. I would just say she's trying to make smarter financial decisions that will solidify her future, because I don't think that she probably made the best ones in the past. Now that she's seeing life from a different angle, I mean, once you know better, you must do better. That's like part of the human journey. So I can't really condemn her for doing that. A lot of people out there like to make jokes on social media. With my channel, I try to be as responsible as possible. I make jokes as well. When I have information, I share it. If I say something that's not correct, I share it. I try to clean it up if I can. Sometimes I don't always get around to it if the person doesn't come back in the public eye with something new, but I try to be as consistent with that as possible. She also addressed head on this issue with Tyga. She says, the most important thing for me right now is battling my custody case to get my son king. Once that's out the way, I feel like I can go on to the next thing. But right now, that is my main priority. My kids are my main priority, and I'm not going to give it up at all. Moms don't give up on their kids. New documents were obtained. Blac Chyna alleged that Tyga had been interfering in her relationship and limited time with their son King. Additionally, she reported that her time with King is now down to 24 hours a week, where it was formerly about 48 hours. It's also being said that all direct communication with Tyga has been cut off on his part ever since mid-2019. So she hasn't really been able to have very good communication between herself and her son, other than when she gets him on the weekends. Not to mention the fact that she's also stating Tyga began withholding their son from her on those designated weekends where she was supposed to have him for whatever reason. She says, I was left completely in the dark as to where King lived, what his contact information was, or what was happening in his life. Tyga's absolute disregard for me as King's mother did not end. He continued to interfere with my time with little to no communication. That is a direct quote. She says, I have reason to believe that Tyga has now enrolled King into a new school and has refused to give me the information and failed to give the school my information. So the school doesn't even know who she is or what she has going on. Tyga has taken this matter into his own hands with no awareness of the damage he is causing our son. My parenting time continues to be minimized and he faces no repercussions for his actions. Gonna be very interesting to see how this pans out, man. I think the courts are definitely gonna rule in her favor to at least extend her time, allow her to get more time with their child. I mean, the fact that she can document that Tyga's been irresponsive, he hasn't been communicating with her, hasn't been keeping her up to date with the whereabouts of her child as far as school and all of that type of stuff. Disregarding the court orders for her to have the child on weekends. He's been skipping weekends, not explaining why this needs to be so. So I do think once they evaluate that in court in front of a judge, they're probably going to make sure that she gets additional access to their child. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates. I'll see y'all on the next one, all right? Much love and respect. Peace.